You're listening to episode 27.
You're listening to Character Crusade.
Greetings, Crusaders. You're listening to Character Crusade, Skyrim Roleplay Workshop. I'm Stu.
And I'm Joe.
And I'm Matt.
And I am Michael of GamerPoets.
Yes!
GamerPoets.
Right on.
Welcome, Michael. This episode is going to be a Skyrim Poetry Slam featuring Michael.
Oh, shit.
And go. Joe is snapping his fingers like a beatnik douchebag.
Shut up.
Nope.
I'm not a beatnik.
Oh, you're just a douche. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was prepared for that.
Oh, sorry.
I could have given you something
Yeah.
rhythmatic and proper.
Yeah. I do that garbage all the time. I
Do you?
put these
Poetry?
guys on the spot. Yeah. Well, I do some poetry as well. Yeah.
Oh.
Not recently, but I'll do a recitation of some poetry from Aranis Arcana later. And we'll enjoy that.
The old man from Nantucket.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So we are very proud to have Michael from GamerPoets on the show tonight. And we're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff, including Skyrim, roleplay. Maybe we'll touch on some mods and some of the projects that Michael's working on. So welcome, Michael. I think having you on the show is probably long overdue, to be honest.
But we talked a long time ago. I think it was 4 or 5 months back that we were going to initially do something, except I don't know how Google Chats work, so I didn't know it was you sending me a message.
Awesome.
Is there anybody who knows how that works, really? I don't.
In theory, the people at Google might, but they haven't told us yet.
Yeah. I seriously do not understand how Google Plus works anymore. I can't figure it out, so I stopped using it. I must be a moron. I can't figure it out.
It's Google for social.
It's very social. Takes about 4 months to get a call through.
Well,
Yeah.
when you're on the phone talking to people about how do you make a phone call?
Yeah,
It's about as addictive as LinkedIn.
exactly.
Ooh.
Well,
that's a
Or
good
Second Life.
yeah.
one. I've used that never.
Well, talking to you is great because I think we've got an interesting intersection of different topics here. Of course, one is that you're a YouTuber, a Let's Player, a role player.
Yep.
Also heavily into Skyrim, into mods, all those things that we love and we talk about in basically every episode of this podcast. So there should be no shortage of things for us to discuss. I think to start with, we'd like to learn a little bit more about GamerPoets. I know that when you first started out, I remember watching a couple of your Let's Plays earlier on, but I think it sounds to me like GamerPoets has grown beyond just Michael at this point, and you've got a lot of different things going on. So maybe give us a little rundown of what GamerPoets is all about.
We do. It has grown a lot, actually. And if you were watching Paxton when it first came out, I feel both gratitude and sad for you. I didn't know much about what I was doing. And I suppose I could start from the beginning to let you guys know why or how GamerPoets came about, which may or may not be interesting to people.
Yes,
No,
please.
please do.
Let's do it.
It's not a sad story, but it's going to come off as oh, that's so bad. But it's really not.
We'll cue the violins here.
Well, couple days after Christmas, the Christmas before GamerPoets came out, I actually got robbed in my home. A couple of kids with masks came in with guns, and they robbed me and pretty much took everything I had. And I got to the point to where I became obsessed with the fact that these people may come back, and I'm looking out of my windows, and I couldn't get my mind off of anything except preparing myself not to be shot again. Well, I wasn't shot. That would have been a better part to the story. But
I'm
Depends on
not
what
sure I would
better
agree
is.
with that.
Would have made for a more dramatic story.
yeah, well, I could have made the news. I could have got some credibility for it, some street cred. But,
And by the way, check out GamerPoets.com.
Dead poets.
Dead.
Yeah. Gamerbullets.com. And but I never got my street cred, unfortunately. But I needed a way to get my mind off of that, and I hadn't played any kind of games in a while. So I started getting back into Skyrim, which I had bought my first gaming computer for. And I figured, I watched Gopher for a little while, and I liked his Let's Plays, but there was something missing in them that I couldn't figure out what it was. I liked how he talked about different mods and different things that he enjoyed. Sometimes Gopher would talk about what was going on in his day, and I didn't want to watch. I enjoyed it, but I didn't want to watch an episode where the character would take a break to tell me, what he had for dinner that day. And so I decided that I was going to try a fully immersive role play. I was going to do it for myself. I decided after the first one, why not throw it up on YouTube to maybe a couple of people will watch it. And I had no plans at all to be a YouTuber. I wasn't planning on getting views or subscribers. I just figured I was going to do this to pass some time and get my mind off of situations that had passed. And after maybe 6 or 7 episodes, I started getting comments. And some people told me I sucked, which was fine. And some people still tell me I suck, which is fine. And
We'll find those people for you.
I have. I even made a song about them.
Yes, we're familiar.
Yeah. But no, people started being really encouraging. So I probably would have stopped after episode 10 or 11, but with all the encouragement from maybe 100 subscribers at that point, if that, I decided to keep it going. And the more I made episodes, the more people would come in. And I actually got to the point to where I had to learn how to mod my game better, because I modded Skyrim before, but I sucked at it. And I'd crash all the time. Like, you have people posting, even in my forums, how every 20 minutes or 30 minutes they're crashing. I was that guy. So I had to learn how to mod my game. I found Mod Organizer, and I decided, well, I'm using Mod Organizer now. Maybe I can make a video about it, which would help some of the people watching. But more importantly, it would allow me to remember what to do, because after I install things, I completely forget what I did. So I started making tutorials for my own remembrance, I guess you could say, so I wouldn't forget how to do them. I watch my own tutorials frequently. It's nice watching myself tell me what to do.
Sometimes you need expert advice.
I realized that started bringing more people into the Paxton, into the role-playing stuff.
You ever think, God damn, I'm really smart?
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was
Shit,
thinking,
what the?
I'm a genius.
yes, right, exactly. So I figured, all right, I don't want to be a tutorialist. I don't even like watching tutorials, but they do help me when it's me talking to me. So I'd continue to talk to me and get more people watching me playing Paxton. So,
That was a brilliant little piece of verbiage right there.
I know, right?
I don't try, thank you.
It just comes natural.
Yep.
Yeah, it's ask my father. He doesn't think it's a gift. So yeah, they started bouncing back and forth off of each other, and the more viewers I got, the more I kept going with Paxton. And by episode, I don't know, I'd say in the mid-30s to episode 40 of what is now called the Rough Draft, which is I went back and remade it for anybody who's watching and isn't aware of that. At the time, it was not a rough draft. It was just, hey, I'm making Paxton. But after I finished the chapter, I was like, I need to call this a rough draft because it sucks compared to what I can do.
No.
But around episode 35 or 40, I started realizing I was going to do this more than just for fun. I'd already been doing it more than just for fun. It started becoming more of a, beyond a hobby, it started becoming a passion. It started, I was no longer just trying to distract myself. I was getting completely involved in the story, and I even wished I could go back at that time around episode 40 and redo some things, because my story plot for the first 30 or so episodes, I liked some of the things that I did, but they didn't really tie in well towards the end, and there were a lot of holes where if I had been paying attention and actually thinking this is going to be something, I would have filled them before I created them. So around episode 40, I decided that I wanted to take this from where I was just playing the game and doing a little voiceover after the fact to I wanted to start doing cinematic scenes. I wanted to make it feel a little more TV-like, I guess, but I wanted to maintain the gaming aspect of it. And I did that. Finally, by episode 50, the final episode in the rough draft, which will be the same ending as chapter 1, chapter 1, I got to the point where I could do a lot of cinematic stuff. And I'm beating around the bush because I don't want to tell people what happens in the last episode for those watching. I still get people I got an email the other day. Somebody really hates me now for doing that. For doing episode 50.
I would think the best thing to do is to encourage them to subscribe and get a notification.
Right. That's what I do. And then sometimes I post links to songs I've made. But most of them are good. Then they come back and they go, I understand, or I don't understand, you're an asshole, but I'm still going to watch anyways. And I'm okay with that. But yeah, I completely got off track. Yeah, get me back on track because I have no idea where I was going with that now.
God, where was he going, guys? I can't remember.
I went to episodes. I went to the end of the rough draft. I've made it.
Uh-huh.
You have arrived.
He's done with his intro.
I made it there. So along that path, I started making more and more tutorials, not necessarily just how to use things, but look at this, like showcases for different mods and stuff, which I thought were great at the beginning, but apparently looking back at them, I kind of sucked. And
says who?
Right. Says who?
Yeah.
Screw those people.
Yeah.
And myself. And but I got to the point where I wanted to get these the mod videos on people's pages, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. I'm like, well, how do these people get you go to a mod page, you see the same 2 or 3 people and 2 or 3 people's videos, and now there's more and more people doing it. But when I started, there wasn't as many. There was maybe InsanoFlex. There wasn't. I didn't see much from Hoddleton. I didn't see much from a lot of the people that you see now. Like they were around, but they weren't everywhere like they were now. So the few people that got on, I wanted to know how to do that. So I started messaging every modder, and I tried to be, and I would harass them in a very polite way and be like, "If I made a video for your mod, would you put me on your page?"
Wow.
Right.
And yet you blew off, Stu.
Sorry, Stu.
That's just because of technology issues. I didn't take it personally.
Sorry, I didn't mean to blow you, Stu. Sorry.
Whoa. I would have remembered that.
I wouldn't. I'd have to make a tutorial for it to remind myself.
That's what we say around here. Make a video. Make a video.
Picture it didn't happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. So it got to the point where people were actually responding to me. And one of those people was Stuart Jansen, who I couldn't pronounce his first name. It's spelled S-J-O-R-O-E-R.
Oh, okay.
And so in the video, I called him S. Joe RT because I'm like, what the fuck kind of name is Stewart? It's not a real name. So I called him S. Joe RT. I thought those were initials, but no, it's just his real name. And
Damn it.
he ended up being right because I screwed up his name. We ended up becoming friends and we made jokes about it. And I ended up making another video for Skyfall Sky Mills, which he is the creator of.
Oh, nice.
And for the last year after that, he's become the co-manager of GamerPoets.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool.
So Skyfalls and Sky Mills creator, who I call Joe, is the co-manager and has been the co-manager for a while. He has been he's just about to finish up his PhD. He's actually a scientist. And because of this, and he's married, has a kid, he doesn't have as much time as I have to dedicate to GamerPoets. So what he does do when he can is he pretty much he'll direct me. Even when I was creating the rough draft, he would kind of direct me and help me out with some of the lore and be like, maybe you shouldn't say that. Maybe you should do this, or maybe you should pull it around this way. Even when I started Chapter 2 of Paxton, which is now part of the rough draft as well. So if anybody out there is looking for Chapter 2 of Paxton, it doesn't exist anymore. It is now part of the rough draft because I do plan on going back and remaking those episodes very similar to how they were the first time, just better.
Okay.
But he created the little ghost boy for me that you see in the Temple of Mara where I have him meet his mother. And he also created for... I guess I can spoil things a little bit. Some people were wondering why Mercer in the Thieves Guild had red eyes, and was he a vampire? He's not a vampire. Why are his eyes red? Because we have mods and we can make these things.
Exactly.
So Joe made Mercer a vampire for me as well to make the Paxton story kind of fit. As in, I mean, his mother is kind of guiding him that direction, but we don't know why. But when we get there, Paxton sees that Mercer is in fact a vampire. Now he has to work under this vampire, and he's not really happy with that.
Oh,
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
Right. But I haven't pushed the story beyond he's not happy with it. I know where it's going, but nobody else does yet. And but I think you guys could kind of assume if we went through the hassle of making Mercer a vampire, which actually was a little bit of a hassle. Every time you went into the Thieves Guild, what is that? The little place when you first go in where it's like the sewer, the water's
Oh, the Ratway?
Yeah.
Not that first hall in the Ratway, but like the back end of it. Anytime you walked in there, the game would crash just because Mercer was a vampire.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So for some reason, just because his character was changed to vampire, the game would crash.
It's trying to render all that vampire stink.
Yeah,
And
right.
it just crashes.
Right.
Vampire
Vampires
goodness. Just overloading the system.
Vampire
The
stench.
back end of the Ratway was bad enough.
Back end of the rat way. Oh, don't point that end of the rat at me. God dang.
And I guess the engine was just like, "What are you doing, vampire hunter?" So it didn't want me to get in there. So Joe had to spend a while figuring out whatever he did. I don't create mods. He had to figure out whatever he had to figure out to make the game stop crashing. So
Nice.
Mercer's
How
eyes
bizarre.
could be red. I think it took him it didn't take him long, but over the span of like a week, he finally got it worked out. I'm sure he could have done it in like an hour, but again, he's just a busy guy. So yeah, I have a co-manager for GamerPoets who creates mods, who helps direct me. Even when I write things like the little song that you mentioned earlier, I'll show them the writing to Joe first, and he'll tell me, "No, that's a little much. No, go ahead." Apparently, that song wasn't a little much. I get the thumbs up from that.
It's going to be on America's Top 40 soon.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so.
Well, that's awesome. You've got somebody to kind of support you, which gives you an opportunity to kind of take your story beyond what the vanilla game and DLCs present, and what mods present, to do something completely custom. I think that's pretty great. That's one of the things we try to do here.
So
you know?
you guys do create mods?
Oh yeah, we've got 5 mods to our credit at this point.
Okay.
We've recently released the House of Troubles, which is a wilderness hostel for wayward adventurers on the border of Cyrodiil and Falkreath area.
Do people get their organs taken?
It well, sometimes
they could.
They could, yeah. I mean, we have some characters in that place who definitely look like the type of people who would take your organs if you weren't careful. So, yeah. So yeah, we do create our own mods, and I've created a whole slew of mods, probably I don't know, 20 or 30 different mods just to support my Let's Play. You know.
Right. So do you upload those or do you not upload?
We've only uploaded 5 so far, and to be honest, it really has more to do with just the freaking time involved. I mean, it's one thing for me to build a mod and run it in game and use it to tell a story. It's another thing for me to clean it up to the point where I feel comfortable to have other people use it.
Agreed.
So at this point, we've done 5. We've got a whole bunch more that we'd like to do, and we're working on version 2 of the House of Troubles right now, which includes some additional characters and some quests and things like that.
I will check this out.
Yeah, check it out. See what you think. It's version 1, so at this point, we're just kind of setting the stage. We've created all the structures and the buildings and the characters and stuff, and now version 2, we're going to go in and start adding additional content. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. The big mod that we had made, Paxton's old campsite.
Yeah.
That was not public for probably 9 months after it was initially created. And for just that reason, I mean, Joe having to clean this up, clean that up, make sure this plant's not floating or that thing that when I'm recording, you can hide it, you know, because I have the camera and I can record what I like. But when you're playing with it in game, everything ends up being messed up. It took him not every day for 9 months, but it took him a period of 9 months to have the available time to touch it up enough to where we could upload it for people who were asking for it.
Well, that sucker, I mean, that ended up on Hot Files, and I think Hoddleton did a thing on it, and it's got around.
And there's a story to that, which I won't tell the whole thing. But when we get our content out there, we're usually really tricky about it to make sure it happens.
Oh. Okay, we need to compare notes. just saying.
Yeah, so if we make a mod and it's not getting attention, we have ways to plant seeds to get it attention, even if it's on a low scale. So
That's cool.
there was a little maneuvering there to get that video out to a couple of people who wouldn't have otherwise made that video.
Awesome.
No one you mentioned, of course, just people.
just people in general, you know.
Yeah, you know, random people, like people you guys have never heard of.
Yeah.
That's good.
So there are tricks to get things done when you need them to.
Yeah, exactly.
But so yeah, that was really cool. And that was the major mod. But being able to have that accessibility, I guess, to someone who can create things that are that good for stories, I mean, it's amazing. It goes from having to completely work with what the developers give to you, or even what the modding community gives to you, to being able to allow your mind to be like, what should be done next in the story? Let me get a hold of this person, go and create it, please.
Right.
And
Total difference.
Yeah, sometimes I'm told no.
But then they come to their senses, don't they?
They do. They do. I've tried to reach out to other modders in the past to try to get a couple of other things done, which I don't even remember what they are now, because I apparently didn't need them, which is okay, because whoever the modders were that I contacted felt I didn't need them either.
Luigi, know what you need.
Right. But no, it's really cool to have people to work with. Recently, maybe 3 months ago, a gentleman by the name of, not his real name, well, maybe it is his real name, Raccoon Imperialist.
That definitely sounds like a real name.
I think it's a real name.
Somebody's mother was really mad. Raccoon Imperialist.
I think that's one name too. There's no hyphen or anything. It's just first.
Where would you sit in the class if that was your name? Raccoon Imperialist? Is Raccoon Imperialist here?
Right in the middle.
Yeah,
Right in the
exactly.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah. Behind Capitalist Badger.
Right.
Yeah.
I hated that guy.
Okay, as you were saying.
Yeah. So he reached out to me, and he knew that on my channel I always put out there in certain update videos that I need help getting video footage for specific things. And for the what I now call the assembly line, which is pretty much any mod that I show on the channel that has its own format. There's 8 different 8 different sections to it, I guess, just 8 different takes of the video. And look at the mod this way, look at the mod that way, look, the mod moves. So there's 8 sections, and that's how I display them. It's always 2 minutes 10 seconds long, that's it. And I needed someone to get footage for me who, 1, knows how to mod, for 2, knows how to move a controller, which is actually pretty crazy in the modding community. A lot of people don't know how to use a controller because everyone uses mouses and keyboards, which kind of blows my mind. But I needed someone who could do both that and had the time to get footage and who could capture it at 60 frames per second and on high quality. And he offered his services to me. So half of the mod videos that I've uploaded for the assembly line, maybe even more than half at this point, have come from him taking the footage for me, sending it over, emailing it to me, and just allowing me to plug it in my template and upload it. So, which gets me more content. And if there's anybody else listening who wants to get video footage for me, feel free to come and do my job.
It's crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
Right. But and then it's great to have people to help out. So I have Joe, I have Raccoon Imperialist, I have Slego, whose real name I do not know. I'm sure I should, but I don't. But his name is Slego, and he runs my Facebook page for me. And if anybody says any important comments on Facebook or comments that he feels is important, he'll send me an email letting me know so I can go and I can check up on it. I'll still check my Facebook once in a while, but it's something I can put to the back of my mind. We only have 266 likes on it, but it's still something to allow those 266 people to get updates before others do. If I have a random thought in my head at the time, I'll post it on that Facebook page. Sometimes they're good, sometimes I lose likes because of them. And but he maintains that for me, so it's really nice to have a team. There's a channel, Harry Morell, on YouTube. He is I call him a bard. He's a guitarist, and he plays a lot of his interpretations on the guitar, classical guitar, of Skyrim theme music, Lord of the Rings music, just anything that could be bard-like, he plays it. And he's an official team member now. So all of the music that you hear on the mod videos, and even a lot of the music that you hear in the Paxton series, he creates. He's actually created, which it's not completely finished yet, he's created a theme song for Paxton. It's actually Paxton's song.
That's cool.
Very cool.
And, it is. And he recently sent me an email telling me that he now has a violinist to put some music to it. So I'll actually have
Wow. Nice.
So whenever that comes out, I'll inform everybody. But it's
Nothing like having the minstrels in your pocket.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong,
sure.
not in your pocket.
well, you know, sometimes there's
What about minstrels in your
Hey,
pocket, man?
don't knock it. Don't knock it till you had a minstrel in your pocket. That's
right,
what I say.
and then knock it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then knock that shit. Yeah. Okay.
The more street cred you get, the more you can knock that shit.
We're definitely going to earn our explicit rating in this episode. This is the reason that 27 episodes ago we set our podcast to explicit, was in anticipation of our discussion with Michael. So
I'm doing my best to withhold my R-rated content. This is still like PG-13.
it's all coming together now.
People, it's funny. I get comments sometimes about. I get a lot of trolls, right? You wouldn't know that by the things I say, but I get a lot of trolls. And I had one guy call me, "What do you think? You're the white knight of YouTube?" Because I stick up for some people when they start getting bashed, like my viewers. I don't care if you bash me, but you start bashing the viewers or people in comments, it kind of pisses me off. And I'll block the people, but sometimes I'll say something back. And I'm thinking to myself, white knight, if this guy only knew. I'm like, call my dad on the phone to be like, Dad, I'm a white knight. Good guy.
Check it out.
You were wrong all of those years. I didn't waste my life. I am good.
If only the trolls knew.
Yes.
Only the trolls knew.
Sir Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, white knight. I was like, I don't even think I'd be a dark knight. Like, I'm not even that nice.
Some
Like,
kind of vile squire.
One of my best friends who I haven't talked to in a while. There's reasons behind that, but he is a really good friend of mine. I grew up with him, and if you knew him, his background, it's not the nicest. He's a good guy to those he knows, but he's not the best guy to those he doesn't. He doesn't have much regard for anything. And he called me. He told me that I am the most vile person he's ever met in his life.
Wow.
And
Dang.
in personal conversation, you know, in public conversation, not so much, but in personal conversation.
Right.
And for him to tell me that, I think I sat in my room for 2 days and stared at myself in the mirror.
Taking stock.
Yeah, I was like, he said this? Shit.
Yeah.
I really had to evaluate my take and outlook and delivery of myself to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't change it because I still enjoyed it, but it made me look at myself in a completely different way. And it took me a while to embrace how absolutely not white knight I am. Oh, I mean,
Well,
I'm
there's nothing wrong with that.
I appreciate that.
Keep playing both sides.
Yeah.
I try to. But,
well,
go ahead.
You know, I think first of all, let's take a beer break. I need another beer. I'm fresh out. But then what I'd like to do
He's
is
looking at me, by the way.
Yeah,
Apparently,
yeah.
apparently
So-
that's the sign for Joe. Get your ass up out of the chair and go get me a beer.
This is awesome, right?
You don't have your ice glass to
I know,
clank
right?
at me.
I'm just thinking the same thing. Joe and I have known each other for I don't know how friggin' long it's been. 35 years, something like that.
Long time.
Ridiculous. And we used to play Dungeons and Dragons together. We played Top Secret. We played Star Frontiers. We played all these different games. And of course, every game came with a whole slew of beverages from, you know, Mountain Dew to beer to whatever else we were drinking at the time. And I got in this weird habit of I'd get to the bottom of my can and then I would look at him and I'd put the can in his face and shake it like it's empty. Right? And he would just go and get one. Right? And then there came this day where he came to the realization that he was doing my bidding every time he did that. And like our eyes met and I could see it click in his head like, I've been doing this for years. I'm such a fucking stooge. You know?
Oh, it's so nice to have.
Now he won't do it anymore.
Yeah, that is so nice to have people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm people.
Now he won't do it anymore. Makes me so
I tried to
sad.
shake even my water bottle at my girlfriend, and she just doesn't pay attention to me.
Well, you know, you shake your water bottle at your girlfriend. You don't always get what you want. Not what you expect, anyway.
Those were the lost lyrics from the Rolling Stones, by the way.
The lost lyrics. Shake your water bottle. Yeah.
Well, you can't always get what you want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I was thinking a different song. Sorry.
Sometimes you get a dry throat.
Yeah. What I want to do when we come back is I want to pick up the story of Paxton and talk a little bit about kind of your improvisational role-playing style with him.
Okay.
I think there's just a lot of really interesting and fun things that we could mine there because I've recently started experimenting in my own Let's Play with doing what I consider to be more of a full-on role play in the sense that you do it. And I thought it was going to be hard.
It's not.
But once I got into the character space, I was like, wow, this is fun. And it's more easy. It's easier for me to talk in character than it is to talk out.
Nice.
So I'm interested in your perspective on that. So that's what I'd like to hit next. All right. Let's talk a little bit about your Let's Play, specifically
Okay.
Paxton. I confess I've not watched Paxton all the way through. I've watched snippets of Paxton. One of the things that I've found really interesting about your role play style and that I've marveled at is I don't know exactly what your process is, but it seems like there's a lot of improvisation going on. And I watched an episode where you were doing a dungeon crawl which was super interesting because you were carrying on a conversation with a zombie in the background.
Some people really love Jerry,
which was friggin' hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, because you were like having this conversation with him, and all he was saying was over and over again.
He was agreeing.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it sounded like he was disagreeing too.
Did you make a yummy sound?
I don't remember yummy sound.
He's an opinionated bastard.
Yeah, I would say. So tell us a little bit about Paxton, first of all, a little bit about the Let's Play itself, and then I'm interested in hearing something about kind of what your process is or how you do that.
All right. Feel free, again, I said earlier, feel free to stop me if I start straying, because I do that often.
All right.
But Paxton, I guess I could start with the backstory. I simply wanted to create a backstory that would be shocking, but something that would make you feel not necessarily close to the character, but at least want to know what's going on with him. I wanted to create something engaging so you would know you would want to watch episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I spent maybe 2-3 days creating that backstory, how his parents died, how he lost his eye, because I wanted the vampires scratched at him or whatever. They took his mother away, and he helped his father get to the shores and whatnot.
Right.
I wanted to create a way to not have to have the same crossing the border introduction. And I chose Dawnstar as the place for him to arrive, and I needed a story for him to arrive at Dawnstar. So I looked at the scenery, and I seen I guess the big it's not a pyre. I call it a pyre, but what is it? It's like a beacon, a little thing for
Yeah,
Oh, like the lighthouse thing.
like a lighthouse. Yeah.
yeah. So I figured that was pretty much the thing that stuck out the most to me in Dawnstar. So that would be where his father's body was burnt and, put to rest or whatever. So I built the whole story around Dawnstar has this fire thing, this beacon to let boats go by. How do I backtrack from that and build a good story to it? And I put the whole vampire thing together. And when I'm creating the stories, when I'm creating the episodes, sometimes I'll write something down the night before. Like, say I create an episode, maybe I'll be laying in bed trying to go to sleep, watching a movie or something, and maybe even something from the movie I'm watching will spark something in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'll write the idea down. Maybe tomorrow Paxton should say this because he did this during the show, today's show. But other than that, it's all spur of the moment. I don't record live. I don't record my voice live.
Mm-hmm.
I sit back, I record no vocals. It's all playing through the episode, playing the game. And while I'm playing the game, I'll make saves, but in my mind, I'll figure out this should be cut, this should go here. This might get boring if I'm walking too far from A to B. How do I make this less boring, or do I just fade in the sequence, fade out, bring it back? So I keep a show mentality, but at the same time, I don't want to get away from gaming because I don't want it to be a TV show. I want it to walk right on the edge of gamers can still get the sense of with the gaming side of things, but people who don't necessarily like Let's Plays or role plays can still get that TV feel to it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Michael, because one of the things that I do is I'm trying very hard to strike a balance between feeling like the Let's Play, the role play that I'm working through feels natural, but at the same time I have the opportunity to create sort of an authored experience too, because I like to write.
I know.
So,
I watched a little bit the Fables one.
Right, and so
a little bit of it.
Yeah, so some of it is kind of spur of the moment where I'm sort of recording in character, and some of it is scripted where I'm writing a journal entry or I'm taking some time to sit down and give some thought to what he might be thinking in this moment, and I'm writing something, some kind of a piece that I'm reading.
The two of you actually have a commonality in that you both record after the fact too.
Yeah, maybe so. Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing. I'd encourage people to do it if they have the time or if they have the desire to do it. It allows you to say, no, this sucked, let me do it again.
Yeah.
Or when I record, like one day is completely dedicated to voice. I'll spend the day recording, and I'll cut the video how I think it should flow. But I have the entire video done ahead of time, and now I have to put voice to it. So
Yeah.
Right.
it gives me a little way to do the improvisation, to do the, to be more prose instead of being written. But restricting myself to that video also allows for good things to happen in the moment. And what I never cut out is random moments, like say, Jerry's sitting there going, the whole time. I would never cut that out. It allows me to say whatever the hell I say in the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
And if a priest is walking around naked, fantastic. I'm going to make this a good episode.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it in a way to where I'm not going to harp on the naked priest. I'm going to walk in and I'm going to look at him and be like, naked priest. And whatever I say, it's going to be,
That's a huge opportunity to boost subscribers with the title.
Right.
Clickbait, baby.
Right. But I mean, those are the best moments. But as far as doing I would encourage people to record after the fact, because I mean, you really can edit down what you want to say, and it doesn't take away from being in character. If anything, I think it helps you be in character more, because you can take a step back and listen to yourself and be like, that didn't sound like Paxton, that sounded like me.
So I'm curious, in a typical Let's Play,
Okay.
how many takes do you think you go through before you feel like you kind of hit the one that you like?
It's audio or video?
On the audio side, I mean.
On the audio, it takes me... A 45-minute episode takes me anywhere from 8 to 10 hours of actual recording to finish. So I record 10 seconds at a time. There's some times where I will go 3-4 minutes, and then I'll go back and edit through it. But I mean, I usually do takes that are like right on the money. And so yeah, I mean, I could do anywhere up to like 150 takes for one episode.
Interesting. So you're doing your audio in segments of a few minutes at a time.
Yep.
That's interesting.
And then I'll watch it back when the video's done, or when not take one, but I'll go through it in segments one time all the way through without trying to trim too much of it out.
Right.
And then I'll go back and I'll watch it, and then I'll listen. Do I like this? Does this make sense? Is this too much? Should I delete a little bit of it, or should I add more because there's a running scene through, going from Solitude to Dragon's Bridge, for example. It's a little boring. How do I spice it up? What can I say? And I'll even watch that over and over again. And what would Paxton say here? Which, when I say what would Paxton say, all of my characters, because I also have a Fallout 3 roleplay. I have 2 chapters in the Fallout 3 roleplay, and that's all I will have for that roleplay, because I busted my save because I modded like a jerk.
Oops.
Jerk modder.
Yeah.
You jerk modder.
I'm a jerk modder. I jerk mod. If you watch him, his name is actually Michael. His name is Michael Robertson. My middle name is Robert.
Okay.
His name in the game, his last name is Robertson, so that's where that came from. But if you watch him, you will notice Paxtonisms, because I don't create characters based on anything other than myself. I've been writing since I was a kid. I started writing poetry when I was like 13 because girls liked it. But
whatever you got to do, man. Whatever you got to do.
So when I got older, I just started writing for fun. I never finished anything. I would like to try to write stories here and there, or journal entries that weren't mine. But anytime I would write, and I would study a lot of writers, I study a lot of writers, and now I can't think of any of them. Like John Steinbeck, Somerset Maugham. I'd study their styles. I would read a lot of their books, but I wouldn't read it for the content. I'd read it for the style.
Right. Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss is only like 10 minutes down the street from where he was born.
That's true.
Yeah. That's where I got my poetry
Nice.
from. But I learned that, at least for me, the best person to write about is yourself, because you know everything about you.
Right.
So when I'm creating a character, Paxton is obviously a fictional character. The world of Skyrim doesn't exist, I'm sorry to tell people. But
Wait, huh? What?
Right. But the character is actually me living in Skyrim with his backstory. How would I react? How would I think? And I'll get comments a lot of times from people even saying, "Oh, that's not realistic." I'm like, "Yeah, fucker, it is, because that's what I would do." There's nothing unrealistic about it. That's what happened.
Yep, that's what I'd do if I had a bastard sword. You know.
So it's like, and I make sure when I'm editing, even the voice, like, would I really say that? Would I really do that? And when I'm talking to Jerry, like 7 years ago, I had a full-on nervous breakdown. I was bedridden. I wasn't told to be in bed, but I was bedridden for 7 to 8 months. I mean, I was completely out of my mind. It took me probably two years to really recover from it. And so I had a really good glimpse into crazy. So when I'm talking to Jerry, it's not hard for me to project my former experiences into I'm communicating with this person who's not really talking. So him going through his crazy mental episode is me pulling some stuff back from when I had my own mental breakdown and injecting it into Jerry, making it a little more over the edge, making a little bit more far-fetched, but still being able to do it in a way that sounds reasonable or believable.
Yeah.
So when Paxton's going through something, I have that experience to make it real.
Yeah, you've got something to draw from.
Yeah.
Right. That makes me actually a little bit scared. I wonder if I'm doing that subconsciously with Robart, and if I am, then I'm really a lot more screwed up than I ever realized.
When Robart starts coming out in meetings, we'll know.
Right. Actually, the funny thing is I have found myself talking to my children with that accent, which, you know, is bizarre. You know,
it's time to get in the car.
Let's get in the car and go to gymnastics.
That's a great point, though. I mean, what better to speak to than what you already know?
And I feel it's definitely the best way to write. And a lot of people ask me, will you do another Skyrim roleplay? One, this roleplay is going to be done in like 4 years, so no. But if it was done already, I still wouldn't do another one because it would just be me going through Skyrim again. So even though I could call the guy whatever I want to call him and try to give him a new backstory, he'd still be Paxton with a different backstory because he's me.
Right. So in your most recent channel update, you talked a little bit about it sounded like you were planning on reworking some Paxton episodes. Is that what you're planning on doing, or is it
no?
What is that shaking out actually?
No, well, chapter one is the reworking of Paxton.
Okay.
If you go into the playlist, you'll find the rough draft, which was the first 50 episodes, and now what was chapter 2 is in there. From the prequel to I think part 24 is now. What's the latest one? The latest one is part 24. Those are the reworked versions of the original videos.
So you're about halfway through reworking them.
A little more. A little more. I've tried to
it's a lot of work.
Deconstruct some of the old episodes so I can make combine them into one, because 50 episodes for one chapter for me is a little much. So
that's the director's cut.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There you
go. I'm hoping to get 40 episodes, maybe 45, even though it's still a lot. It has to be done because what was done previously. But I'm hoping to do maybe 40 parts for the episodes. But yeah, Paxton's been being reworked for the last year and a half, maybe year. In which I found out it was pretty awesome to do that, because when I went back to remake the episodes, I had the original episode to draw from on top of everything else. And that in itself really helped me develop my video editing skills, because I didn't have to worry about what was going to happen. I just had to kind of recreate what already happened and spend my time focusing on how do I do this effect or how do I cut like this. So recreating everything actually really helped me develop my video abilities.
That's really cool. It shows kind of a dedication to a character that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm trying to think about whether or not I would ever consider going back and reworking
So-
some episodes of Fleet's story, and it's hard for me to imagine.
I can see you
doing
would
it.
want to, but I can imagine that you might prefer not to.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the
amazing.
amount of
Definitely a
work.
big- yeah. That's what I was gonna say. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
So now you may have touched on this, or you probably did, but what were some of the reasonings for going back? Was it just to fill in some of the plot holes, the story, visuals, a little bit of both?
A little bit of all of that. Like I was mentioning earlier, when I was getting towards episode 40 or so in what is called the rough draft now, I started implementing a little bit more cinematic stuff instead of just playing through, recording it, and then going through and doing the voice afterwards.
Sure.
The first time around, I do the voice in 1 or 2 cuts, and it was all right for the time because I didn't know better. But as I started really going back and watching, I mean, I've watched my own episodes over and over again just so I can
Right.
figure out this is good, this is not, I should not do this again. At that point, I realized this is a story. It's more than just me playing a game and uploading it. It's a story that I've invested so much into.
Right.
And there are holes that need to be filled. There should be a lot more of the backstory that could be brought out in pieces in
Right.
individual episodes. And when I went into chapter 2, I had already gotten better with recording, with video stuff, and then comparing the two, I was like, if I was a new person coming to Paxton, I would like watching chapter 2, and then I would go and I would watch chapter 1, and I would be extremely disappointed from what I'm seeing because I'd already be used to the new videos.
Oh,
Yep.
right. Yep.
So at that point, maybe episode 11 or 12 of chapter 2, I just stopped. I made an announcement. I just told people I'm going back to the beginning. I spent maybe a month thinking about it, and I couldn't continue chapter 2 because all I could think about was chapter 1 is missing this, chapter 1 is lacking this, chapter 1 should be doing this.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much why I went back. I wanted to make sure that the story was a story. It didn't start as the first 30 or 40 episodes being a let's play and just being uploaded because people liked it and I got into making videos. I wanted it to be something that I could look back on even 10 years from the time I'm done with it, watch it and be like I did something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So much of this is an evolution, right? As your storytelling ability grows and your familiarity with the game and the tools available to you grows, you start to change things up. For me, Aranis Arcana was very much kind of an evolution like that. It started as a Let's Play.
Well, it
fairly-
started on the Xbox.
Well, it started on the Xbox as a very traditional Let's Play,
Yep.
and eventually migrated to PC, and then mods came in, and pretty soon there was tons of narrative going on, and it turned into something completely different. And I got to that point where I was kind of in a situation like you, right? I was thinking back on the stuff I had done earlier and thinking, I could go back and fill in these holes, or, you know what, I could just kind of call it quits and I could start over with a brand new story, utilizing all the tools that are in my toolbox now that weren't before.
Yep.
My path was a little bit different than yours in that I just really took more than a year off, essentially.
I remember when you took the
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, you,
and then came
you
back
kind of
different.
hit that wall as well, though,
Yeah.
where everything it became such a production that
Yep.
it just
Yeah.
was almost overwhelming.
I needed to regroup and I needed to really consider
Yeah.
how I wanted to put this together. It's so much of it is about not just about the story, but what's a process that's sustainable, because
It's hard to find. It's hard to find one of those.
it is. By the end, I was making 2-hour episodes. To make a 2-hour episode was like 20 hours worth of work, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? This is ridiculous. So,
Where's my life going?
took a year off. Actually, to be honest, I took a year off from producing content. From producing Let's Plays, I took 2 years off. And in that interval, in 2 years, I kind of figured out what I needed to do in terms of, the formula.
Balance of
But yeah,
everything.
there's a lot there.
Well, it's hard, as a storyteller, you always want to go back because there's always more to. But at what point do you got to stop yourself from self-editing? And
I
Yep.
know.
that's a tough balancing act.
It is.
Yep. And for me, I I've turned something that could be negative into like a pretty fortunate thing. Like you said, it took you 20 hours to make the 2-hour video. I put 16 to 20 hours into my 45-minute 45-minute long videos, and I don't need to. I definitely don't need to, but I force myself to watch them over and over again to make sure I get them to where I need to be. But the only reason I can do that is I'm on disability. I don't go to work. You guys have to go, you know, people have to go to work in the day. I do this 80 to 100 hours a week.
Stu doesn't sleep.
I'm so tired right now. God damn.
My breakdown is what got me to disability, got me on disability.
Right.
So
it's almost this is almost therapeutic.
And that's how it started. It started as a form of therapy, but it's gotten to the point to where I've gotten back. Even a year ago, I got so much back into just enjoying the writing process. I've always liked telling stories, but I actually have a story now that people want to listen to, that I want to listen to, and that I can create. So I'm to the point to where it's like I have to put that time in. But again, you don't want to put too much time in. So that's my limit. I limit myself to 1 day of video, 1 day of audio. If I miss something, it's gone. So it's 8 to 10 hours a day for the video, 8 to 10 hours a day for the audio. At the end of that second day, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, there's no more going back. There's no more editing. I'm at the point now to where I can do cinematic stuff. I can cut scenes well. I can cut voice well. So I give myself that length of time. It's more than I need, but it's enough for me to not feel the need to go back. Like, even if there is something that I feel like I missed when I go back and I rewatch it, I know the amount of time that I've allowed myself to put into it. So I don't feel that, oh, shit, I should have did more. Like, no, I did everything I could in that moment.
Right.
Yep.
And I had enough tools at the ready, and I knew how to use these tools enough to be like, okay, it's done, let it go.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a
awesome.
crazy process when you think about trying to describe what it is that we're doing to somebody who doesn't really get it.
That's crazy.
It sounds crazy, but I've tried to describe it to people by basically saying, this is my novel. I'm writing my novel, and this is how I'm producing it.
Exactly.
And
Good way to say it.
you know, this is the story that I've always wanted to tell, and I've chosen to do it in this format because this is the format that provides all the elements that get me excited about doing stuff, right? It's the combination of writing and creating cinematics and playing a game that I love and having this experience in a world that I'm enthusiastic about. It's like the perfect marriage of all the things that I love.
And the best part about it is you don't have to worry about 100 other people trying to help you out or show up to work that day. Like, hey, boom, man, can you move a little closer, please?
Yeah, I know, right?
You are everything.
Exactly. You are the key grip.
Right.
For better or worse.
Yeah, and everything else in between. Yeah.
So, and yeah, I mean, it's absolutely awesome. I've tried to, I said I used to write poetry. I also used to be a rapper, believe that or not. And I even tried making my own video before. And
It's hard to do it from behind the camera.
What's that?
It's hard to do it from behind the camera.
It's really hard to do it behind the camera. No, it took me like 2 months to make this video because I'm trying to film myself. And I mean, I even built. I had my brother-in-law built this little metal. I don't even know what you would call it, like a rail. And I put a camera on a skateboard so I could move it on the rail as it skates.
Awesome.
Now that's
Get
commitment.
my own shot.
That's commitment.
You know, so I'm sitting here thinking like I need to be all these freaking people. And I mean, the video didn't come out that great. Some of the music I made was all right, but the video couldn't come out too good because it's only me. I mean, there were some shots which I was proud of because holy shit, I pulled that off. It wasn't a high production thing because it couldn't be with one person, and everybody who said they would give help or do this or do that, they never come through. Or something's always coming up this day, or these two people can't get together on that day. And being able to do this role play stuff with Skyrim or even other games, you are the only person that needs to show up to work.
Yep.
You know, actually, that's a big reason I have always stayed away from the big MMOs, gaming wise. I just don't feel like I can really put myself out to commit to being part of this big group, and we're going to get together this day or that day and the other day. And I'm like,
Guild night.
you know, I just want to hop on the machine when I have time and just play.
Yep.
And that's why, that's a big plus with games like
Absolutely.
Skyrim.
You know, the only reason that I've ever considered Elder Scrolls Online is because of the possible lore that I'm missing out on. You know,
Right.
but you know, it's funny. Every time I go online and I say, okay, I'm going to look at some gameplay videos, I'll watch, you know, some gameplay video of somebody playing Elder Scrolls Online and going through a quest or something like that. And there's always that one freaking clown who's running around in the background, like spamming the jump button, you know, and grabbing a shard or some shit like that. And I'm like, I could not freaking play this game with that clown there. It would just ruin it for me.
Go kill him.
I can't play this game. I can't play it. I can't do it. And it frustrates me, you know, because I'm trying to have an experience.
Start calling you the architect.
And the 13-year-old kid is spamming the jump button and running it, you know, sprinting every freaking place.
Mom and Dad are at home. I got the controller.
Yeah, whatever. I can't do it. But
I can't commit to that kind of stuff either.
Drives me nuts.
Though I'm a huge Walking Dead fan.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I download it. It's one of the only TV shows I watch. I don't have time to watch TV. All I do is create these.
So do we need to
videos.
discuss the last episode?
No. I liked it.
Did ya?
I loved it.
I was a little disappointed, but
I knew it was going that route. The moment that all the actors, like 4 or 5 actors, said that they read the last script and it made them sick to their stomach, I instantly said, these people don't know if they have a job.
Well, there could be that, yeah.
I was like, this is why they're all sick to their stomach. They're not sick to their stomach because their friends going home. They're sick to their stomach because they don't know if they're employed.
Well, they probably will be, at least for the, you know, a couple of them on flashbacks.
Right. So I downloaded the app game for the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even commit to a guild on an app game for Walking Dead. I've gotten kicked out of 2 so far because I can't log onto my phone and play them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I could log on.
Right.
Yeah, it's just too much to dedicate to.
Yeah.
And all I'm doing is moving this guy to shoot this zombie over here. I mean, it's a cool little game, but it's cheesy to do for, you know, 5 hours a day like some people are doing.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have time for that on my phone.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, yeah, as far as being able to commit to things, even like MMOs, I couldn't commit to the MMO. Can't commit to an app game.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Saves you all that trouble with carpal tunnel.
That's right.
That's everyone's biggest worry, right?
Well, I guess, you know, one of the things that we all have in common here is that there's something about this game, Skyrim, that in the Elder Scrolls universe, to be honest, that's so compelling that it keeps bringing us back time after time to re-experience some of the same things for 5, 6, 7 times, right? Yep. It's interesting. I always speculate on that. You know, what is it about this whole concept of Elder Scrolls that keeps me coming back? And I'm interested to hear what you guys think about that.
I think you hit a major portion of it is the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And how deep and well thought out it is. I mean, yes, there are some contradictory, overlapping parts that come up, but overall, all the way back from number 1 to now, it's just been such an evolving lore that it's really just intriguing. It grasps your imagination.
Yeah,
I've always been a huge history person. Not recently, because all I do is play stupid video games. but I've always been huge into history, and the fact that there is so much history in the game, and that it, you know, for the most part, it does make sense with all the religions and
it's a lot to keep in order. But
I mean, it's great. It's awesome that it exists. I mean, it really brings I don't want to say the kid in me out, because even as a kid, I was kind of a dick. But
I was going to say something, Michael. I mean, you're being an awfully big dick on this program right now.
If you're going to be a dick, be a big one.
Right. Big swinging dick.
Right. You're going to have a little dick if you have a big dick in you.
Sorry.
Because some people.
Did we really go there? We did. Didn't we?
I think.
Okay.
I think we did.
Anyway, as Michael was saying.
But I mean, it really brings that, like, sense of, I mean, when you get older, you start you start to you should start to understand what's going on with the world around you, the real world. You'll start to see how shitty a lot of it can be. I mean, life is great. I love living. It's fantastic. I love my friends. I love, my girlfriend's great. My family's great, but there's a lot of crap that goes on in the world. And when you can find a game like Skyrim, where even when there is crap going on in Skyrim, it's such good crap. It's like so in depth, and I rather hear about, the thieves and the bandits raiding this place instead of the bandits down the street raiding the supermarket.
Well, it's an outlet. It's a way to escape that reality. It's like going to the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you get to create your own movie and live within that movie.
Yeah. Except unlike the movies, you have control.
Yeah.
We've said since the beginning, the hard part is that if you're just there to play the game, there's really not a lot of depth to it. If you remove yourself just from doing a quick playthrough and hack and slash and get done, it's not the same.
And those are the people who go, this game sucks.
Or, I beat it.
I beat the game, yeah.
Oh, God, I hate that one. That's bullshit.
You can't beat the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you killed Alduin. That's not beating the game.
You beat Pac-Man.
Good job.
You beat Pac-Man. You don't beat Skyrim. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous.
I've had this new thing recently, and I have nothing against Call of Duty. I don't play it, but I have nothing against it. I've gotten into this point recently to when people start posting comments, rude comments. I mean, if you leave a comment and I don't like it, whatever, but if it's directly rude and it has something against this game sucks, but it's like at the same time people are saying something derogatory towards you, I usually tell people you need to go back and play Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the game for you.
Right.
Are you addressing the 12-year-olds or what?
I don't know. You know what? And I think about that, but I don't even want to disrespect the 12-year-olds.
Well, no, I've got a 13-year-old, and
I have a 12-year-old.
Yeah, they don't even.
See,
but
I've come across so many even like people in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah, I think those are the ones that are the problem.
Yeah. That think they're 12.
They really are. And it's like I want to call them kids, but I'm like I don't want to insult kids.
Good point.
Yeah. Are you feeling lucky, punk?
So I've gotten to that point when people start going about the whole "I've beat the game" or "this game sucks." I'm like, you really need to go do a first-person shooter.
Yep. I think the beauty of this game is, first of all, how deep the lore is, how rich the world is, but at the same time, there are all kinds of gaps. There are all kinds of little things left open or unexplained that we can exploit to tell our own stories. And I think that's I think that's what makes the game special is we have the ability to fill in those holes, to tell our own stories in the context of this universe.
Right.
And there's really no limit to the kinds and number of stories that you can tell. And so I think where some games would give us maybe a richer story experience, but an authored experience.
Yeah.
This game in particular allows you to create your own authored experience, which I think in many cases, for a lot of us, is probably richer than anything that Naughty Dog could do for us in one of their games, for example. Which to be fair, are very well authored, beautiful story experiences, but there are a lot of people out there who have a movie in them, who have a book in them, and maybe they'll never write it, but they get to play it. They get to play it, and they're writing it in their head through a game like Skyrim, which allows them to do that. And I think that's amazing.
It's crazy how many people, I mean, not hundreds, but still, it's crazy how many people who have written to me, and they've said to me that for one reason or another, Paxton has either made their lives better, brought them to a better place in their lives, and in some circumstances, I've had people tell me that Paxton was the reason that they didn't kill themselves.
Wow.
I've had a handful of people tell me that, and it was because of the story. It was because of the honesty and the dedication to the character, and whatever this character allowed them to do in their own playthroughs or just in life in general. I mean, it's pretty crazy, and I think it goes back to the whole a lot of people, more people than you would think, have their own stories to tell, have their own movies to make, but don't have the medium or the time to learn how to do so.
Or just even know how to start.
Right. And this allows them to, this kind of world allows them to live it, even if it's only for an hour or two a day.
Right.
And I think that's where we get back to the escape that you were talking about earlier, Joe, like going to a movie. It's a chance for you to maybe act out a little bit about who you are in the story that you're telling. If you're not writing a novel or you're not writing a screenplay, maybe this is exactly the thing that you wanted to tell since forever.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that gets at the essence of what Character Crusade podcast is all about. That's why we're so grateful to have you on, because I think one of the things that we've kind of described as our informal mission statement from the very beginning, a year ago when we started this podcast, was we wanted to try and help people figure out how to get more out of the game, how to create their own narrative, and really take a game like Skyrim and have a completely different and totally original experience, an experience that's all their own with a game like this. And it's really not that hard to do.
Take that architecture, take what the developers are giving you, and just run with it.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
It's just a framework.
Yeah.
Canvas.
Yeah.
Magic white.
You know, I would like to talk a little bit about the step guides, because you've obviously invested.
I know some. I don't know everything.
Well,
I know some.
you've invested a ton of effort in creating tutorials that kind of are, I guess, I don't know if they're based on the step guidelines.
Well, when I first started, well, not when I first started making tutorials, but when I first started realizing that tutorials were getting Paxton more views, I wanted to find a way to get my tutorials out to more people so I can pull more people in to watch Paxton, which eventually developed into, I actually enjoy creating tutorials now. I used to hate it. I mean, it's a god-awful process.
Talk about that breakthrough, though. What was that like?
When I finally got to the point to where I realized tutorials are what I was going to make, I reached out to S.T.E.P. They were the first people who taught me how to mod. They didn't actually, they didn't come over my house and tell me how to mod, but they had S.T.E.P the website up and they had all the instructions up, and I learned how to mod by reading the S.T.E.P guides. So I reached out to them and I asked them if I could help create video tutorials for them. I probably spent a month sending emails to Z with a lot of numbers after his name. He's the person that, I don't know if he's the head of S.T.E.P, but he's definitely the guy at the top for the last couple of years. I know he keeps the site alive and keeps it going. And I sent many messages to him, badgering him to allow me to do this, and eventually he said yes. So he gave me an opportunity to create official S.T.E.P videos. At the time, I wasn't the best at making them, but so I would create the videos, and instead of being allowed to upload them right away, they wanted me to keep them private, send them to them, and allow them to approve everything I've done.
Right.
The first videos, or the first handful of videos that I created, it would take me almost 2 weeks to make a single tutorial because I screwed them up so bad. And people, and some of the S.T.E.P members would be like, no, this is wrong. No, you're going to change that. No, you're going to say this. And I wasn't even the best modder at the time. I knew how to make these videos, but I wasn't even the best at making the videos at the time. So I'd have to go back every single night and be like, shit, I have to redo this. Oh, okay, this video's perfect. And I send it to them, and they're like, no, this isn't perfect. This sucks.
Oh, no.
And then back I would go. So I did that with them for maybe 8-9 months, and it was no longer taking me 2 weeks to get the videos done, but it would take me 3-4 days of solid work putting into these videos, and I actually became a better tutorial creator because of them, because of this process they put me through. And I mean, I could see the average person who doesn't know much about modding quit after the first week with those guys. But I mean, they're great people. They're willing to help. They're willing to tell you everything. And all the crap that they went through, Tech Angel, SRB, W, Z, to watch these videos over and over again and to critique them and to tell me what needs to be changed. I mean, it was crazy for them to accept me into this, into this modding world. At the time, these people were magicians to me. I mean, mod creators were magicians to me. Now that I understand it, it's not so impressive. But back when, I was still like a little kid watching Superman, So I'm creating these videos for these guys, and I have, the X-Men telling me what to do.
Nice. Right.
And I was like, no, screw that. It takes me 2 weeks. I don't give a shit. Wolverine just cut my hand off. I'll deal with it.
I think people who pour in that much time to make their material so good also understand how much time you end up putting into doing a tutorial video and wanting to get it right. Sometimes it's really hard to go through the critiquing process, but you come out with such a strong video product at the end you feel like it's on par with the stuff that you learned from. That makes it so fantastic to know that you're participating at that level.
It's such a reward. It really is a rewarding experience. And then I mean, like, eventually, like I said, instead of taking 2 weeks to make a video, it would take a couple of days. And it got to the point to where I started knowing things. I didn't have to ask for how do I do this or do this anymore. It got to the point to where I wanted to make my own. I started moving away from S.T.E.P after 8-9 months in. I still refer to them in almost every tutorial, but it got to the point to where S.T.E.P was so restrictive towards my own creative process because my mod list reflects Paxton.
Right.
Their mod list reflects S.T.E.P, reflects everybody who wants to create a fully modded game that can work without crashing.
Right.
So while Paxton's original mod list is based on that, I needed to add so much more so I could bring the story around. So I eventually left. I mean, I still talk to them once in a while. Even this recent installation Skyrim video that I've made for the 4th time since I started the channel, which is the last time I'm making it.
So he says.
He draws a line in the sand, man. I'm never making this damn video again.
No, I'm done. I said this is my last year for Skyrim tutorials. And it's all I'm remaking all the old ones. I'm making the ones that I've always wanted to make. But I still consulted with one of them. I sent them Tech Angel. I sent him the thing over, and he told me, no, this information might not be good. This information is right, but it's a little confusing to some people. So I remade the video again, and I uploaded it 24 hours later, and I was like, oh shit, I remember this process. Not even with them. But, no, I mean it's pretty cool, like the stuff that they did for me. They got me in the door. They got me to the point to where, I mean, I have 15,000 subscribers. It's not, it's not 1 million subscribers, but I wouldn't have that without S.T.E.P. I wouldn't have the knowledge on how to create tutorials. I mean, I've went through 4 or 5 different formats in my tutorials to where this is finally the one that I'm completely happy with. I wouldn't have been able to develop that if it wasn't for those guys saying, no, do this, no, do that. And I'm extremely thankful to those guys for that. I mean, even with Paxton, like the viewers coming in to watch Paxton in the comments, they wouldn't be there without the tutorials that I've made because of S.T.E.P helping me out.
Right.
And I think that's probably true. All the way back to the beginning, you had to be willing to try to stick your neck out for the very first thing. Whether the S.T.E.P people were there, whether your audience was there, you still had the story in you. And you wanted to get that out. And that's what I think probably takes the most courage for anything. Joe has been working on an awful lot of writing, and I think that it's sort of changed your gameplay. I think it's changed your approach to the game. I think that your ability as a writer's totally changed. But it isn't just because of the stuff that you've heard through this or anything that you've done with Alistair or anything else. It's the ability to take that first step. Who cares if somebody else opened the door? You had to walk up to the door first. Right. There's a hell of a lot to get to the door before someone opens it for you.
That's a good point. True. That is a very good point.
It's true.
Yep.
Unless you're doing alternate start, and then I suppose you could end up right at the door.
which any one of the 27 doors that you want to pick from the menu.
Yes. Yeah. Just let Mara know.
Yeah.
Well, not any one of them. Some I wouldn't walk through.
Oh God, no. Just ask Joe. He's picked a couple of wrong doors.
Yeah, you might want to second guess the I'm a necromancer in a secret location.
Why was I thinking that one?
What happened there, Joe?
Wait, I don't want to be a necromancer. Don't pick Left 4 Dead either, because you'll definitely be left dead.
Oh, I haven't tried that one.
Don't pick Left 4 Dead. So
yeah,
I haven't done alternate start.
What else did you guys? I know you guys asked about S.T.E.P, and I kind of went off into how I get to know about them, but
No, I think the main thing was just I think that there are a lot of us, hundreds of thousands of us, who really owe you and S.T.E.P a big thank you for producing what you produce, because quite honestly, I mean, I don't follow the S.T.E.P guidelines to the letter, but there's lots of really great information there. Well, and frankly, a lot of it that is made much more accessible by the fact that you're making videos about it, because I would much rather go to a video and figure out how something works than to try to read through the reams and reams of documentation that are out there. That stuff is a great fallback, but I think your videos tend to touch on the high points. And
that's what I tried to do.
Yeah, there's many of your videos that I've watched 5, 6, 7 times over to make sure that I had, something like Real Vision set up properly, or whatever it is, right?
Well, we touched on this a little bit with Dirty Weasel when he was on, and that there's a skill to be had in taking a complicated process and explain it in a way that seems simple.
And that's what I like to do, because I was like I said, when I reached out to S.T.E.P, I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Right.
I didn't know how to mod a game. I mean, I knew how to mod a game, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just thought I did. And the funny thing is, that's how most people are.
Right.
I have people commenting to me, telling me that they've been modding games for 5-6 years. How dare I tell them that they shouldn't do this?
Right.
And then my response in my head, and sometimes in text, because they're just complete douches, is, well, you've just wasted the last 6 years of your life.
Sorry, douche.
Well, yeah, I mean, admittedly, I'm probably at that point. I'm going to be, I know I'll be reinstalling everything from point blank at some point in the near future. Really, when my current playthrough is done, I'll probably wipe it out and start all over. And yeah, I'll be heading straight to videos and all that, because sure, you can download the mod.
He says, come on over.
You can check the box, but that doesn't mean you know what you're doing.
No, look at me. I'm an exact replica of that comment.
I have a very, what I consider my game fairly unstable. It's playable. It's playable for me.
It's like flying a modern fighter aircraft. It requires a lot of attention.
But I know it could be a lot better.
I mean, and that's true in most situations. And I mean, it's funny to where it's like, I mean, I really do get so many trolls. I really do get so many people pissed off because I'm telling them that this is how you should do things.
Oh,
I'm not telling you that this is how you should do things to be an asshole. I'm telling you that this is how you should do things so you can play the game.
Michael, stop being an asshole.
Hey, and with knocking on 3.5 million views, the trolls can go jump.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I think Joe's game is kind of a metaphor for his personality. Just really,
you've said this before.
Reboot, unstable. What?
I am not unstable.
Requires modding. No. What?
Unpredictability is not unstable.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Stop shaking the can in his face, too.
It's a way of life.
So my sister had posted something about me on Facebook. I've gotten away from Facebook, so I don't get to see all these nuggets every now and again. But I happened to notice the other day. It was an International Siblings Day, which of course I missed.
International, because you're a bad brother.
Because I'm a horrible person. But so she had posted a story on how, because I used to have really long hair, and then one day I went down. I actually went down to the end of the neighborhood to our mutual friend Mark's mother and borrowed her shears, and I just shaved it all off on my own.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
so she posted this comment on, I had a friend that just loved his hair, and he came to pick us up, and he had shaved his head, and it was kind of patchy, and I thought she was going to cry.
Yeah, Joe's unstable.
Sorry.
What's
matter
funny
what he
about
says.
long hair is I never had long hair. Since I created Paxton, I've never cut my hair.
Really?
Yep, I have. I decided when I first started, well, not when I first started Paxton, but when I decided to dedicate to Paxton, that I will not cut my hair until it's complete.
Mm-hmm.
That's commitment.
So my
That
hair
is.
will look like Paxton's until Paxton is finished.
Nice.
Perfect.
That is my commitment to Paxton.
Is that including facial hair then? He's a bearded fella, right?
It does. It
So,
does. Unfortunately, my facial hair does not get as long as his chin hair does.
Oh, okay.
So genetics played a part in that, but it does include the facial hair. That is my commitment to Paxton. There have been days where I've wanted to cut this shit off.
It's like a
Yeah.
gamer
It's
version
not-
of hunting season.
Yeah. It's not because I'm lazy or because I don't want to get a haircut. Which I mean, I could cut my own hair. It's just I'm not doing it until Paxton's finished, and it's probably going to be like another 3 years. So I'm going to have an itchy head.
Well, when you cut that shit off, you better film it.
I think I will. I might even put it on eBay.
There you go.
I will sell my hair for a good cause. That's probably
Paxton.
my
Why
new
not?
graphics card.
Why not?
Nice.
Yeah. Paxton gives back, you know.
Yes.
Well, obviously, Paxton, awesome. We've got lots and lots of fabulous tutorials out there, which, you know, thousands of people have used to create games that are actually stable and can run with mods and all these great things. You've got a lot of stuff out there, too, where you've been kind of doing some mod reviews for both, I think, Fallout and Skyrim. Which is kind of interesting as well. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you've got quite a few out there now, don't you?
Well, the assembly line, that's the main thing as far as individual mods go that I am going to create from now on. They're basic overviews of mods, but mods that I'm going to use. Even I have mods from Oblivion I've uploaded. We have mods from we don't have any mods from Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 yet, but I do have a little bit of content on them. We will have some mods, but they're all mods that I'm going to use to one day create a role play for those games.
Okay.
Cool.
So if I show a mod, I'm not showing them just because they're cool. I mean, everyone wants to see the new Oblivion mod, but you know,
Get that up now.
right. But even as far as like Fallout 4 goes, I'm not even playing the game. That's a whole nother story. I can go off on that later if you like. Why I'm not playing the game, but I don't put up a mod or do a mod review because it's popular. I do it because I think it's good, because I think it's going to add to the game, and more importantly, add to my role play that may be created next year or 5 years down the road.
Cool.
So I have all intentions of doing role plays for Oblivion, for Fallout. I want to redo the Fallout 3 one, for Fallout New Vegas, for Fallout 4, and for the next Elder Scrolls game. And so
Michael's
so
going to
those
be
mod
busy.
videos that I'm creating, I'm
Yeah, he is.
picking and choosing ones that I like.
Yep.
Ones that I want to see, and again, not necessarily the most popular, even though some are. I'll jump on a popular mod if I want to get some quick views in the moment, but only if I would use it, not because it's popular. There's a lot of mods out there that you see all over the Fallout 4 community, especially this past December and January, where it got flooded with these kind of mods, and I wouldn't touch them. Not only did I not touch them, I stopped playing the game because I got so put off by them.
Well, that's too bad.
And I'm not talking about the naked and boob mods. I'm talking about like the the happy little texture mods, not the big boobs. Those are great.
Big fan. I'm a big fan. Yeah.
Big fan. I love when the community just votes for the hot files, just boobs after boobs after boobs on the hot files list. I love it. It makes me excited. I want to make videos for these things. I don't know why I haven't yet.
Yeah, what's going on with that, man? I wish you'd get on the stick there, because there's obviously a demand.
My computer actually went down.
We're all waiting, Michael.
It's a horrible terminology to use when we're talking about boobs. But my computer went
talking
down
about his computer going
December.
down.
Jesus.
His computer is flatulent.
He's the one who said it. I'm just letting you know.
And
It's not like he was doing product reviews.
Well, I had nothing to do as it was going down, except look at mods for like a month and a half, and I was going to be like, all right, I'm going to get really into the Fallout 4 mods, and I'm going to build a good list of mods to look at and to do a playlist at. And every single thing was big boobs, big butts. Oh, look, the new outfit came out. I can not see her nipples, and that's it. And
so
like,
the Band-Aid mod.
Right. I thought these were really immersive mods adding to the community.
Oh, for sure.
And the thing is,
in a big way.
Yeah, it's sometimes a small way. Whatever
In a
you
big
like,
jiggly way.
But I'm not against the people that create these mods. Create whatever you like. I'm not against creative outlets. I'm not if this is how you express yourself, express yourself. The thing that got me completely turned off was not the creation of them, but all of the people using the mods completely overlooking even simple mods like these book textures, like these burnt book textures I did 3 videos for. They're awesome textures. They make the books look they look like they should be in the game, but they don't even get looked at because all the people downloading mods want to look at are these new boob mods, these new cut-off shirt mods.
Right.
It was so off-putting that the people who are putting all of this work into these other things to make the game better as its not vanilla version, but to improve on the base game, are getting pushed aside. They're not getting looked at. Some of them are quitting modding all together, and the people leaving comments in some of like the mods that aren't the boob mods, they're so discouraging to these people's creative outlet. And it was just disgusting to me that, I mean, not everyone's like that. Not all the mod authors are like that. Not everyone in the community is like that.
It's disappointing, though.
Very disappointing. There were some people who, there was some HUD mod that came out for Fallout 4. I didn't use it because I wasn't playing the game, but someone even informed me that this person quit modding altogether just because they couldn't deal with all the crap that was being said in their comments.
Wow.
And these people are creating this content for free for you.
Right.
They're doing this stuff because they enjoy it, and then you're going and bombarding them with all this crap. And that's when I started getting to the point to where I no longer ignored my own comments. I made that little song.
Well, yeah, that's the frustrating part, is that so many of these people are putting themselves out because they do enjoy it, and they're not. If you don't like it, 1, don't use it. Right. 2, go make your own then.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If it's that big a deal to you, if it's that damn easy, go do it yourself.
And I like a lot of those mods that I've been testing out one at a time to find out which ones make the space in which I'm playing feel more natural to me. Like realistic books and lighting and textures and things like that. It makes me not pay attention to some of the lower resolution things in the game that draw my attention away from the gameplay. And if all people are worried about is whether or not the leather is going to show anatomy, I can think of other things that are more important to the gameplay.
Honestly, how can you call that heavy armor?
Hey, look at Einer Stegander. He thinks he's got all the armor he needs.
Something's heavy.
Yeah, and he was getting his ass kicked too.
Something's heavy. Yeah.
Depends who's wearing it.
Yeah, I suppose.
What you're wearing it on. And like I said, I have nothing against the people that make those mods. I have nothing against the people that make the skimpy mods. The people who I do have a problem with are not even necessarily the people endorsing them, but are the people who are forcing the other mods to be overlooked because of the comments they leave, because of the putting downs, because of
absolutely
bashing.
It's all that crap.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, there's a lot of those types of mods. I don't like them, so I don't use them. But I don't go on. Yeah, I don't go on there. I don't go and put them down and say how horrible they are.
Maybe the big challenge is to get in front of all those folks who think that it's okay to bash the mods, and so you put one out there and see if you can get something that the community and everybody likes without fail. It isn't going to happen. No, you're going to find trolls. You're going to find people who like something different. You're going to like somebody who wants a different mod and, knocks yours down. But let's be realistic. No one's going to make something that's perfectly loved by everybody.
No, and you're like you say, you're always going to get the comments, but it's unfortunate that they can be so overwhelming. To your point, Michael, that they just make you want to throw in the towel,
punch them in the throat.
Right. And I mean, there's been times over the last year where I almost stopped making videos. Not because of what were people saying to me, just I mean some of what were people saying to me, but some of just the community in general. There have been times where I've had to take a step back and be like, do I really want to create material? Do I want to put 100 hours? I mean, the merge plugins video that I made, I put almost 300 hours of work into that one tutorial.
Wow.
300 actual work hours.
Yikes.
Do I want to do this for
Right.
people who not only don't appreciate it, but for who just talk shit to all of the other people in the videos who are just putting out so much negativity and crap on it?
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason that I kept making them is because there are still so many good people in the community.
Yeah.
There are.
It-
Most of
yeah,
them are.
Yeah. Trying to
Most
focus
of
on
them are.
the positives. So
Yeah.
try to. It's hard, but
You know,
I think if we can do that, then you can tidal wave and overthrow and overwrite all of the negative.
the
but
general
it's,
rule
It's hard.
for
Yeah.
YouTubers is they always say, "Oh, you should just ignore those people." I don't agree with that. I think that people who come onto your channel and start talking shit should be confronted. And
Call them out.
Agreed.
yeah, I think they should be called out, and I think they should be exposed for who they are. And I haven't hesitated to do that on my channel, although there have been many times when I've seen a comment like that, and I've had to take a step back and say, okay, I need to take 24 hours
I'll comment tomorrow.
before I respond to this clown,
I do the same thing.
and I need to, calm down, do my homework, and come at this topic or this comment from the right headspace. And I've never regretted that decision, even though
Right.
many times I've really, really wanted to comment in that moment when I was feeling the rage,
Right. Right.
But yeah.
Well, I think what's worked nice with your channel, Stu, is you've got a couple really good. I mean, you've got a lot of good followers, but there are those brave souls that really will come to bat for you and stick up for you, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I think of that as well, and there have been several occasions where I've had
just
viewers
step back and go, you know what, this is handled.
I just put my hands in the air and I step back, and the viewers will step in and say, you know what, you're a douche, and you're what you're saying is incorrect, and they'll support it with all kinds of interesting and really insightful comments and information, and it's so fun to kind of just sit back and let viewers handle that, because they just do a great job of sort of self-regulating in a way, I think.
I've had a few viewers doing that for me.
That's good.
Yeah,
We've
it's
had
nice.
maybe 40,000. Well, I don't know how YouTube works. I don't know if the comments count the comments that we make as a comment, like to your comment total. But since the channel started, we've had almost 40,000 comments.
Wow.
And I've been a part of almost every single one of them.
Wow, good for you.
I mean, there were days where I haven't done it recently, but I will start again. There were days where I would sit down and just 3-4 hours I'm doing nothing but answering comments.
Wow.
And I monitor my forums like heavily. If there's someone trolling on my channel, if there's someone saying something stupid to somebody, I cut them out, or I'll stick up for them and then I block them, or I'll post a link to my song now and then I block them. But I mean, it's crazy. Like even the other day, somebody wanted to say something negative about creating an installation Skyrim video. I won't say the person's name because they don't deserve it. But they were like, why the hell would you create an installation video at this time for such an ancient game? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you're an asshole. You're on my channel, which is mostly about Skyrim, saying, why would I create a Skyrim installation video? He went on to say that I wasted 13 minutes of his life because all I showed how to do was install the game and pretty much set up the game. The title of the video is Skyrim installation and setup.
But he watched the whole thing, right? Was he waiting for like a punchline or something?
He was waiting for something.
Yeah.
So I wasted 13 minutes of his life because I showed how to install Skyrim.
Yeah.
And you captured 13 minutes of his watching time.
Yeah. Oh God. I totally feel you, because when we released The House of Troubles, I have a little series on the channel I call Skyrim Anthology. And what I do is I just post little videos that have to do with mods that we've created.
Right.
Yeah, and they're like really short.
They're relatively short, and they're designed to really showcase the features. And really the intent there is that these are videos that are going to be embedded in our Nexus page, you know?
Okay. Right.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You know, and I got some guy commenting about how watching my video was like watching paint dry. You know, like, you know, I really feel like you don't understand the essence of what this video was about.
Right.
You know, were you looking for narrative?
Oh,
There's a little Robard ready to come out right now. Isn't there?
What the hell were you looking
making
for?
Different accounts to come back and talk to you with somebody else.
Yeah. What
the
the F?
same person, the same.
Yeah.
And he stated it right in his thing. At this point, what the hell am I making a Skyrim installation video for? Right. I'm not getting 1 million views on this video in its first couple of hours. So he makes a post. I say something back, and then I block him. And then he sends me a message. I can read part of it. So I post up, this guy says this, and this is what I think about it. I pretty much called him an idiot like 50 different ways. But without ranting. Like, I did it in a very intellectual way. But I still said the word idiot and imbecile in it. And then I instantly get 4 dislikes on the video, 4 comments from 4 different people on that comment saying how wrong and stupid I am. Really? I have 346 views on this video, right? I remember the number. I have 346 views on this video. No one in my base community is going to post a comment like that against me. The video's been up for a couple of hours, and now I instantly have 4 people responding. Do I not know that this isn't your other profiles or one of your friends?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I even left a comment.
Yeah.
I left a comment about that. Instantly, the comment's deleted. I
Yeah.
never hear from the guy again.
Hey, Jimmy, I just got this message from this guy. You got to go on here and you got to comment and you got to do thumbs down and you got to.
It's you're logged in Chrome, in a different account in Firefox, and a different one in Edge, and a different one in Opera, and you go unlike, dislike.
Yeah,
I'll show. It's kind of like your no bird.
Yeah, I've got a dude on my channel I call the No Bird who just comes on to every freaking video I make and gives it a thumbs down.
What?
And it got to the point where I just like every time I see that it's always 1 thumbs down, you know, and I'm like,
Always that
hey,
person.
it's the No Bird. Thanks for showing up, you know.
I had one of those too, and I almost felt bad when I didn't get that dislike.
Yeah, I know.
Where's my dislike? Did I not live up to my standards?
Come on, dude. Least you can do is be consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to me too. Like, I don't think people understand, or maybe they do. I don't care. Dislikes don't hurt your videos.
No.
They show engagement.
I know.
They still you can search a video on Google, and you can find a video that has 200 and something dislikes and 2 likes, but it comes up because as far as that topic is concerned, it's the #1 engaged video.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
so you hate me so much that you're helping my video?
That'll
Thanks.
show you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I had to watch this 13 minutes of install video, but I watched the whole thing before I told you that it was stupid.
You bastard. I didn't realize till the last 5 seconds it was an install video. God.
What a misleading title you gave me.
Yeah.
I know.
13 minutes of wasted
life.
time.
You
4
know, and
different
the whole point
views.
was
Yeah.
His whole point was 13 minutes to tell me to click the install button. No, I didn't just tell you to click the install button. I told you that you need to not install the game into the program files folders. I showed you video footage on all of the settings in the launcher. Different variations of this setting gives you this. If you set the item fade to 1 or the item fade to 10 or the item fade to 15, this is where they fade out. So really, this is the comment you give me?
This is what you got from it.
Well, I feel your pain, sir, and it's the reality of
YouTubing.
being a YouTuber, I guess. You know,
That's and I block the hell out of people. Like, I've always said, I'd rather have now a good 15,000 subscribers than a shitty 1,000,000 subscribers.
yeah.
Well, I think what's amazing to me is to listen to your perseverance, to your reason for being online, for continuing to produce all these videos in the face of adversity and trolls. And there's lots of reasons to not do it, but there's at least 15,000 good reasons to continue doing it. We're so grateful to have folks like you on. You know, you've been producing videos for a couple of years now, and we have an awful lot to learn. We have an awful lot to share, and I know that me, just as one of those many people, really, really grateful to have you out there in the community.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, many, many thanks, Michael, for being on our show. We would love to have you on again sometime. I think as you get further into Paxton's story, it'll be interesting to see how not only the story evolves, but how your storytelling technique evolves.
And how the beard grows.
Exactly.
It'll be a couple of months for Paxton. I've mentioned that on the channel. Right now, I'm rebuilding the mod list, and all these tutorials that I'm creating, I'm creating them as I reinstall everything, so I can probably pretty much make them as I go. So it's probably going to be 3 or 4 months until Paxton returns, but when he does, he'll be here to stay.
Well, then we'll be back in touch in 5 or 6 months, and we'll see how Paxton's doing.
We'll be looking forward to it, and we'll be looking forward to your YouTube time lapse beard videos. So yeah, I'm sure that's coming.
Hey, Michael, this was awesome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. All right. Well, we've got a few announcements to talk about. All kinds of fun and interesting, cool stuff going on with Character Crusade. The first thing that we want to mention is the launch, the long-awaited launch of our shop, our store.
Yay!
We have gear.
Yar.
Holy crap. Yes.
Yar.
We have Yar gear. We have Naked Nord gear. We have RK's Balls gear. We've got
T-shirts,
yes.
mugs. You want it? We've got it.
We've got Yar Naked Balls gear. What?
It's not my gear. It's Yar gear.
Yar gear.
That's right. If you go to shop.charactercrusade.com or go to Character Crusade and click on the shop link, that will take you to our shop where we've got 3 different designs. We've got T-shirts for men and women. You can change out the colors on those. There are 12 different colors to choose from, so you can actually design your own shirt. We've got
mugs
available also. If there are specific kinds of gear that you want, let us know. If we can produce it, we will produce it. There are a lot of different things that we can produce through the shop system that we're using, but we've elected to kind of be conservative so far in the number of items
ceiling
that we're,
tiles.
Yeah, all kinds of different things.
Yar?
Yes.
Yar!
Yeah.
Oh, Naked Nord bed
Yep.
sheets.
So if you've been pining for your Naked Nord gear, you can go find that now. We've got the Naked Nord Society in T-shirts and mugs. We've also got a special Robard Edition 5 Fables RK's Balls T-shirt and mug available, as well as a Stacks version as well that just says Yar and Stacks of Wisdom, which you can get on a T-shirt or a mug. But we're going to be releasing new gear in this space, so we'll let you know on upcoming podcasts when new things are coming out. But you can find some of that stuff highlighted. For those of you who missed out on it, we apologize. There was a 15% off sale over this last weekend. We had some people take us up on that. We really appreciate it. If for whatever reason you feel like you can't make a recurring donation to us on Patreon, buying a bit of gear is a great way to support the podcast. We love that. And if you want to...
it supports our coffee addiction.
Yeah, it supports our coffee and skooma addictions.
Skooma.
Yeah, skooma.
Why do you look at me?
Because you're the addiction guy. Aren't you?
Wow, that's...
Wow. Joe,
okay,
the
well,
addiction
I
guy.
guess embrace it.
Joe's addicted to writing about Skyrim.
No kidding.
Yes. And that's actually a good
Marathon
segue
writer.
into some other stuff we're going to talk about in a minute. But we did have a 15% off sale this weekend. Big thanks to those of you who got out there and purchased some gear. Man, that just helps. You can't imagine how that helps. It doesn't take a lot to support what we're doing, and we really appreciate all the assistance. We'd love to see some snapshots of you wearing your various gear in all kinds of exotic locations.
First person viewpoints of what other people look like when they look at your gear. What the heck is Yar?
What are you talking about?
Naked Nord Society. Should you be wearing that in church?
Why, yes, you should.
Yes, you should wear that everywhere. Yeah. So, big thanks.
What does that say? That's
Big
beautiful
thanks.
script type. RK's Balls.
Who's
That's
RK?
odd.
Who's RK?
Blasphemy.
Balls for me.
Yes. So, big thank you feel free to get out there, shop.charactercrusade.com.
And again, if there's something specific you'd like to see or have some ideas, please send them along.
We have a feedback form
we
that might
will
be
give
very good
them
for that.
consideration.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the topic of fan mail, right, Joe?
Absolutely. And speaking of writing, we have been getting a lot of mail, and
Oh, my God.
we so apologize for not getting to said mail. But coming up in a few weeks, what are we looking at? Episode 29 tentatively? Well,
Yep.
More than tentatively.
Episode 29.
We are going to dedicate that entire episode to you, our listener and viewer
Yes.
on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much to talk about, and we
Yep.
really, really want to get to your comments, your feedback, your questions, and
Fan art.
Yep.
and everything. I mean, there's so much wonderful stuff going on out there, and
Yep.
we do not want to ignore it. We're not ignoring it. There's just
Yep.
so much to go and on about and talk about, and some amazing guests like we had tonight. And
So we're going to dedicate a whole episode
so
to
as,
awesome fandom.
as we did tonight, and we do with our other guests, we are going to put you in the guest chair.
That's right. Listener Appreciation, episode number 29. We are going to get caught up on listener mail.
And that
So,
should happen and be released around, what, May 13th?
oh,
Is
man.
that
You have
right?
any idea the tsunami of stuff that's going to come in?
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, Joe. May
So-
13th is when that would be released. So that means we're recording
On the 9th.
on the 9th of May. So if you've got questions you want to get them in before May 9th, and they will be included in our listener appreciation episode.
Yep.
Awesome.
Full episode
Yes.
dedicated to you for being dedicated to us.
Exactly. And that brings us to item number 3. Matt, something very exciting. What's going on?
Fantastic segue, gentlemen. The material that's coming in not only is feedback and questions, but it's fan fiction. And today
Awesome.
we had the great
This is
honor
great.
of releasing the very first one of those. For those of you who are horrified at the voice, I can only apologize for that, but it was a heck of a lot of fun to put it together. And Tom wrote a fantastic little intro story to one of his characters, and I was grateful to be able to read what he submitted. There are others that are already in the works, and we'll try to release those in between some of our other main podcast episodes.
Yeah,
as,
we don't have a
as
set
off-week
schedule
fillers.
date, just kind of when they happen.
When they're available.
right.
We have a few already in the hopper, which is
Awesome.
great, but that should not prevent others from submitting them.
Yep.
No, a backlog
Is
is
good.
welcome.
Right.
Yeah.
But in those cases where people have decided to, I don't know, submit Bee Gees lyrics, we might not read too many of those.
No.
Or any.
But anyway, I think that the great part is that people are engaging in so many different ways. Not everyone is recording videos or tutorials like we're hearing from
Right.
Michael. In a case like this, Tom, I'm sure, has got a very, very strong story for his character playthroughs, and we just got to see a little glimpse of it. More are coming, so watch for Character Crusade Presents fan fiction releases mostly on SoundCloud, but we'll release them on the site and notify on Facebook. And as time permits, we'll try to put them up on YouTube as well.
Yeah, the good news here is that these are being released right into the stream on alternating weeks from our regular podcast
Right.
in SoundCloud. So if you're already subscribed to our podcast, you're going to get these as well. And these are kind of interesting little fiction nuggets
Yeah,
in
short,
between our
7 to
regular
10 minutes.
episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is great. If you're already subscribed to us, you're going to get this stuff as well. But we are going to be creating a project space for this on the website that'll have a roundup of all of these as they come out. So,
And I'm just going to add, because it's important, I think, for our worldwide viewers or listeners, rather. If English isn't your strongest language, don't let that be a roadblock. If it's a good
Right.
story, we'll try to work with you and figure it out.
Right, and as Tom will probably tell you, if
It
you ever
m-
get a chance to interact, we went back and forth on
Yeah,
a couple of
and
things.
It's gonna it might increase the time from it getting of Matt's ability to put it out, but if it's got the quality to it,
that's
No,
right.
It'll
I
get
don't.
there.
I don't read Kazakh or Urdu or anything. But
Come on,
send
Matt.
me
What
what you
the hell?
can. If Google Translate is required, At least let me know what language you're writing it in. That could be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
In all honesty, we will do our very, very best to try to translate it for an audience as broad as we can. We're Midwestern United States dwellers here, so we tend to favor the English.
We do best with English.
We do best with English, but that doesn't prevent us from trying tools like Google Translate or anything else. So while that might be kind of fun, if you have some English skill or are writing anything, seriously, submit it on our feedback form, and we will get in touch. I will get in touch, and we'll figure out what we can do.
That's right. So if you've got something, feel free to also to reach out to us on Facebook. Matt is really active out there on Facebook, and we can kind of start the conversation that way, and then he'll give you some direction on where to send your stuff and how the process works.
Absolutely. Now,
awesome.
This is only possible because we've been at this now for almost a year, and we've got a fairly large cadre of people who are not only listening and watching, but providing some really good feedback. A year of this, we've gone through, 27 episodes now. That's completely amazing.
It is. It's
So-
the best. It's the best.
We should do something about that, don't you think?
Yes. Yes, we should. In fact,
Why? What a good idea.
we should have a first anniversary episode.
What? First anniversary episode?
Yes.
That's crazy talk.
Yes, May 29th is the 1-year anniversary of Character Crusade podcast. And, it wouldn't be Character Crusade if we didn't do something over the top. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're making plans right now for a first anniversary episode that will have some features, some things we've never attempted before. And we don't have a date set yet, but we're working on that. We're targeting kind of the end of May, beginning of June timeframe.
And we'll announce it wherever we can.
Yep,
when we come up
we'll
with
announce it. So
Yep.
keep your eyes open. It'll be on the website, but we'll also be making announcements on future podcasts as well as on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere that you happen to be following us, Instagram, whatever it is.
Napster,
Napster? Does that still exist?
MySpace.
MySpace. Yes, our MySpace page will feature. Oh my God.
Doesn't Timberlake own MySpace?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
Anyways.
we'll have to get in close with that.
Yeah.
dude.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, it'll be out on our tripod site.
Oh my word!
Oh my.
If you're going that far, we should do Angel Fire
Oh
too.
my God. Okay.
Only if we can have a buttload of ads.
Yes. May 29th is the official 1-year anniversary of Character Crusade podcast. And we are planning something special to celebrate 1 year of Character Crusade. And I think we're going to try some things that we haven't done before. We're going to do some live streaming. We're going to do some live chat. We're going to have multiple guests. And we're going to, spend some quality time with you, our listeners, and our guests. In order to do this, we're trying to work out a Saturday recording date, which would allow us to record earlier in the day and make it easier for some of our many listeners in the EU to kind of attend live if they wanted to do so. So you can look forward to a date being announced for this. It's going to be posted, obviously, on the website, but we'll put it on Facebook. We'll put it on Twitter.
Right.
Anywhere we can, and we'll announce it on future podcasts as well as we kind of narrow down the dates.
Yep.
But-
Awesome.
Late May, early June.
Yep, late
Somewhere
May,
around
early
there.
June, something like that. We're just going to have to be flexible on the date depending on
Right.
folks' availability. But the plan is first anniversary Character Crusade extravaganza, and the plan is to live stream and then allow you, the listener, to participate during a live chat session, which we'll monitor, and then have all of your favorite guests from previous Character Crusade podcasts coming and going. It should be a lot of fun. The plan is to spend some time not only talking about the game that we love, but sort of speculating, doing a panel discussion on what the next version of the game might be like,
Yep.
what we'd like to see, what we'd like to see from the mod community, and the direction that we think and hope this game might go. So I'm really looking forward to that because we have a whole bunch of people who've been on this podcast previously who are just really insightful and are really into the game. And I think we're going to get a lot of great discussion out of it. So it should be tons of fun.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Keep your eyes open.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're driving.
Please. Yes. And then, so yes, we'll live stream that, but we'll also record it and then release it as a regular podcast as well. So if you're not able to catch the live show, you'll be able to actually catch it in the normal podcast stream as well. So we've got some great content that has been released recently. We want to touch on that quickly. And then also wanted to mention, we're really excited about our next episode, which is going to feature a special guest.
Do we want to
break that news now? Or?
Yes, we do.
We do?
Oh, we do.
We do. We do.
Our guest,
I'm super excited.
I sound like Skeksis.
Our guest will be Dark Fox 127 from YouTube. You can also find him on Nexus. He is a modder extraordinaire. He's made some really fantastic mods. He's done some collaborations with other modders, such as Eleonora. He's made some really fantastic things, and we're super excited to have him on to really talk about mods, from the role play perspective. I think one of the things that's particularly exciting about Dark Fox is that a lot of his mods are really steeped in this idea of sort of progressive building of player homes and things like that. Right. He's I think most notably known for Caranthir Tower. And Joe, you've used the current version of Caranthir.
I am using the current version, and it's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to his in the works. I believe it's in beta testing now, but I'm stoked for that to be released. But I really like Caranthir. I use it actually quite a bit when I'm going about from place to place. Enerath, my current player, my current character, often teleports herself back to Caranthir to just get away from it all, and it's also a great place to move into other areas of Skyrim quickly and easily, without really breaking your experience and your role play, especially with this particular character of mine who is heavy into magic.
I think one of the hallmarks of Dark Fox's creations are just the level of professionalism. And
high level.
He really adds some really kind of cool, interesting features.
Details.
He takes care of those details, right? So not only are you getting an interesting player home, but you're getting an experience out of it. Usually there's quests associated with some of the things he's doing. You get to sort of progressively build a home over time and really get invested in the creation of the place. Wow. And if you haven't checked it out, I definitely recommend that you follow him on Twitter, because he does these wonderful live streams on Twitch while he's actually making these mods.
That's builds, cool.
So you can watch while he builds these mods and creation kit, and he announces those on Twitter. So you'll get a Twitter message with a link. You can connect to Twitch and watch him build these things. And he's currently in the process of rebuilding Caranthir from the ground up, and he's adding all kinds of amazing, really sophisticated things. So
I'm definitely gonna have to go into God mode and grab all my stuff. So when I nuke it and reinstall the new one, I think it's gonna be wonderful. But big fan. It's a great home. What I really like about this particular mod of his, and I don't know about the others so much, but this one for certain, is it's a really nice bridge between games.
Okay.
So it's taken this thing, this Caranthir that existed in Oblivion, and bringing that concept and that feeling, and all the way from the background music to the different rooms that come from the Oblivion soundtrack. It's just a lot of fun to see these games kind of come together through mods. And he's definitely not the first person or the only one to do such a thing, but he carries it out quite well. So really looking forward to that.
That's really awesome.
And I'm looking forward to kind of his thoughts on why he did that, what he liked about Oblivion and the other games and that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be a really fun conversation.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's part of what I've been looking forward to as well. Obviously, on this podcast, we're all really invested in Skyrim, and all three of us, our exposure to the Elder Scrolls world has come through Skyrim. So, having some folks on who've really been invested in some of the earlier, iterations of this game
are
great.
I had a very tiny bit concerning Oblivion, but not nearly the extent of which I played Skyrim. So I know the whole debacle.
Yeah. Well,
all that, but
it's one of my favorite mods from him has been the Darkwater Sanctuary, and I was actually planning on using Darkwater Sanctuary as part of my Act 4 Aranis Arcana setting. Right. Obviously never got to that, but I've played through that several times and actually made some modifications to it, played with it. It's been really wonderful, and my understanding is that was kind of a port over from an Oblivion experience as well into Skyrim. So yeah, big fun. We'll talk to him. That episode is, we're planning on releasing that on April 29th, if everything works out well. In addition to that, quite a few new items that were launched on the website last week. We had a new chapter in your story, right, Joe?
Chapter 7 came out last week.
All right.
And things get a little... things start to get a little serious, a little dark towards the end of Chapter 7.
Okay.
Enaroth is exposed to things she hasn't ever had to worry about.
Uh-huh.
I mean, at this point, she's equivalent of, a 13-year-old.
Right.
So, her life's exposure is pretty limited at this point.
Yeah.
In this particular chapter, she is put herself in with bandits.
Okay.
And bandits are what bandits are.
That's right.
It might seem nice at first, but it doesn't always end up that way.
Stay that way.
Yeah. So that's Chapter 7 in Enaroth's story?
That is Chapter 7 in Enaroth's story, is all about the bandit experience.
All right, cool. And then we get, let's see, the next installment of Robard's story, 5 Fables. That came out last week as well. So lots of content out there to check out. We've got some new artwork on the website.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of stuff going on, as well as Matt mentioned earlier, the launch of a new kind of fiction podcast initiative. Just tons of things going on. So we want to thank you all so much for your support. We could not do this without you. We very much appreciate it. Well, dear listener, we've come to the end of another episode. We'd like to thank fans of the show for your faithful support and continued encouragement. Your enthusiasm is the lifeblood of this podcast. And whether your support comes through Patreon with dollars, through iTunes with reviews, or through recommendations to friends and family, we appreciate it all. You can contact us through our website. Go to charactercrusade.com. And until next time, remember, it is not about the objective, it's about the journey. So go forth and experience.
Matt?
Bow. A bow. No.
need to reel me in. Like as you see, I can start rambling. Just cut me off. Go ahead.
No, not a chance.
Okay.
Let it fly.
I'll cut him off. I'll cut him off, right? Just like that, man. Cut him off.
I think I see that the most effective way to do that is for you to shake an empty can in his face.
You know,
right.
You can just blow me.
Whatever. What was that little cat on Thundercats? What was that one?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Thundercats.
Ho!
What was that cat character on Thundercats?
No, it was the
Which cat?
It was the little horrible house pet thing.
I don't know.
Whatever it was.
No, I don't know.
That's like little enslavement.
Yeah, it's
It wasn't like a child Thundercat.
it's like
it was
Orko from He-Man. Every
Oh, that was horrible. That's
every
when that whole
cartoon's
thing went
got to
down.
have one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Scrappy.
yeah, like Gleek from the Super Friends.
Oh, no kidding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, those are deep references. Let's move on. All right,
Dumped boiling hot coffee all over everything because that was such an exciting comment.
ladies and gentlemen,
I've burned my leg. That was so great.
Well, at least it wasn't mine.
hey, looking good.
Wow, that's a lot of liquid. Don't ever replay that part.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yep, you do what you got to do.
I'm gonna get some napkins.
There's paper towels in the break room.
There's electronics and coffee.
Paper towels in the break room.
All right.
Interesting to see how he does that editing. Joe has got a very unique beer here,
I can't say it's that good.
but who cares? What is it?
Created by Iron Maiden.
Oh my god!
Trooper.
Man.
Iron Maiden.
Yep.
Iron Maiden makes beer now called
It's
Trooper.
just called Trooper.
It's got Eddie on the can.
It's called Trooper.
Yeah.
Why?
I
don't know.
Well, it says it's a premium British ale. Apparently, the Brits don't like carbonation.
What is Eddie anyway? Is he a zombie or a ghoul or what is he?
Draugr?
I never. He's a Draugr. Okay. Oh God, that's
First
the next
known
mod.
Draugr.
Eddie the Draugr.
That would be fun.
Oh, that would be fun.
That's a good
You
one.
have,
That
you have to call
would
it Trooper.
be fun. In a former life, his name was Dave Mustaine, but now everyone calls him Eddie, and he's a Draugr.
So here's the deal on this. Let's see if I can read this damn can. God,
Can you read it?
no.
Need your bifocals, Joe? Are you getting old?
I am getting
Are you
old.
getting old? Do you feel old?
Let's see here. Being a real ale enthusiast, vocalist, Bruce Dickerson
That sounds like all bullshit to me.
has developed a beer which has true depth of flavor and no carbonation.
Would you say it has depth of flavor, Joe?
No, I know. I mean, I'm gonna.
Does it say no carbonation?
No, it doesn't. But it just
Oh.
doesn't have any.
Maybe it's just skunky. What if it's just skunky?
It's very possible. I mean, I don't see a lot of this, flying off the shelves. So
What is this?
it's
His Iron
Trooper
Maiden beer.
by Iron Maiden.
You know,
All that reminds me of is that horrible Steven
Yeah.
Seagal sweat beverage.
we used to run back in the day. We used to run a LAN party series here in the Minneapolis area,
Okay.
and we used to give away all kinds of really lame prizes. And there was one one event where we were giving away Steven Seagal energy drinks.
I didn't even know he made an energy drink.
Yeah, well,
Why
yeah.
wouldn't he?
It tasted like ass, but it was sort of fun to have the can afterwards and say, "Look, I dared to drink this."
I have a picture.
Maybe
I don't
you'd
want to
have
remember.
Maybe you'd have GI issues for 2 weeks after, but that's okay.
But I won the beverage.
Yeah.
You know, Matt, you're right.
Reruns on AMC for like 2 weeks.
This does taste like an energy drink.
It is. It's weird.
Does it
This
really?
Kind of.
Have you tried it? Have a sip
No.
of
Come
Iron
on,
Maiden
try
Trooper.
it.
It tastes like an energy
God.
drink.
It was brewed in Cheshire, England.
Really?
That's what
Is
it
that
says.
where they're from?
Chest hair? What?
I don't know if that's where they're from, but that's what it says.
That's weird.
I know.
I don't like it.
It's Robinson's Brewery.
You should check
Cheshire,
the ingredients on there because I think that
Yeah.
it includes swamp water.
No, it's the water
Draugr
taken
sweat.
straight from the Thames.
Draugr
my
testicle
God.
sweat.
That's a good one.
Ew, get it
Not
off.
a beer that I should try.
I'm going to use that in my Let's Play.
Well,
Draugr testicle sweat.
I mean, I had to get it just for the can, but
Yeah.
I'm a little
Draugr
disappointed.
sweat.
Draugrs. You know what? I think of them as being extremely dry.
I think they're more preserved,
Dusty.
like a beef jerky.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine a skeleton wrapped in beef jerky.
Draugr.